Hello and welcome to Casual Learning. I'm your host, John Bannon. Today I'm going to do a video summarizing chapter 4 of my newest book, Superdeterminism Defeats Atheism. You can get this book on Amazon Kindle. Chapter 4 is entitled Objective Morality. So what I'm doing in this video is showing you how to use Dr. Hanson's proof to argue against the second point of atheistic ideology I list in chapter 1 of my book, namely moral relativism. Dr. Hanson published a proof in Physics Essays, volume 33, number 2, in June of 2020, entitled Bell's Theorem and Its Tests, Proof that Nature is Superdeterministic, Not Random. So this proof is telling us that our universe is a predetermined static block universe without continuous causation in physics. Moral relativism is the idea that there is no universal or objective set of moral principles. If world morality consists solely of the aggregate of people's subjective opinions about morality, then morality is always subjective and never objective. So morality would be considered to be someone's perspective based on what they happen to think about whether something is good or bad. So if morality is purely subjective and perspective based, then there's no foundation in objective morality. For example, think of a lion chasing an antelope across the African plains in order to kill it and feed its family. Now, from the perspective of the lion, this is a good thing. He's hunting, killing prey in order to survive and feed his family. So it's morally correct from the perspective of the lion. But from the perspective of the antelope, what the lion is doing is terribly immoral, and he's attempting to murder the antelope and leave the antelope's family without a father. So, from the perspective of the antelope, this is very immoral behavior by the lion. So the question is, well, who's correct? Is the lion or the antelope the immoral player in this scenario? So it appears that the answer depends on who you ask. If you ask the lion, what he's doing is morally correct. If you ask the antelope, what the lion is doing is murderous and evil. So you end up with perspectives deciding whether morals are correct or not, which means that morals are really just subjective and no one has a claim to an objective morality. While it is true that morals can be traced back to the person who first said it or wrote about it, it is also true that they were part of a predetermined universe, a static block universe, which made them say it or write it down. So people cannot actually cause their own opinions on morality because continuous causation in physics is not real. Because God created our static block universe, then God predetermined everything that is ever said or written down by anyone about morality. Consequently, God can determine that human beings speak and write about God's morality for humanity because God is in charge of deciding what happens in the universe. He predetermined it, pre planned the whole thing. So, because of that, because of Dr. Hanson's version of superdeterminism telling us that the universe is a predetermined static block reality without continuous causation in physics, then it is reasonable to infer that God would tell us his morality for humanity because he did create us with the capacity to understand that morality. It is also reasonable to infer that God would predetermine his will on morality to be exhibited as the predominant world religion about God. Because Christianity is the predominant religion about God with 2.38 billion members worldwide, one can infer that God has endorsed Christianity as his will on morality for human beings. Consequently, Christian morals must be objective because God endorsed them by making them the predominant religion about God worldwide. God can only be objective because God is omniscient and knows everything. Um, that means he must always be correct. And he can't interpret or express an opinion because he already knows everything. He knows the answers to everything. So he can't give an opinion about it because he knows the actual answer, the actual truth. So God can't be subjective. God gives objective morals through his endorsed religion, Christianity. So, because God has endorsed Christianity as his will for humanity, then everyone on the planet is subject to objective Christian morals. Jesus told his disciples to spread the gospel to everyone. So, Christianity is meant as a worldwide religion that subjects all humanity to Christian teaching. You can find that in Matthew 28:19, or the Great Commission, as it's called. So there is an objective basis for deciding right from wrong. And it's the word of Jesus, and the Christian Bible and what the church teaches about Christianity. And God has promised to judge you after you die as worthy of eternal life in heaven or not, based on this Christian Bible. You do not decide God's objective morals on your own, based on your own personal opinion of what they should be. God has predetermined the existence of objective morals by endorsing Christianity, where God tells you to follow these morals in the Bible. And it doesn't matter that men wrote the Bible because God wrote the predetermined plan for the universe, including the predetermined existence of the Bible exhibiting his endorsed religion. Um, so there is no such thing as moral relativism. There's actually God's objective morals predetermined to exist in our universe, to be told to humanity, to be followed. And it's in Christianity. That's because Christianity is the predominant religion in the world about God specifically, which one can infer that God intended Christianity as his message for all humanity. You can't say that about other religions. They're either not about God, so why would God endorse a religion that's not even about him? He wouldn't. That makes no sense. Or it's not the predominant religion about him, which Christianity is. Now, Islam is a close second, and it does have to do with God. But Islam also has Jesus in it. Jesus is the second most important prophet in Islam. So, because it has Jesus in it, it's also wildly popular, and God has allowed it to gain that popularity. But the predominant religion is Christianity. The predominant religion about God is Christianity. And that's the basis of objective morality. So don't think that every religion says the same thing, because only Christianity is God's endorsed predominant religion. You should be following the objective morality set forth in Christian teaching. So back to the lion and the antelope. Well, who's right? Is the lion right or is the antelope right? Well, God didn't predetermine the existence of a Bible for those sorts of animals, nor did he give those animals the capacity to even understand his morality. So um, there is no answer to that question. Um, just the observation that you're dealing with animals and God has not predetermined a will for those animals. They don't have a Bible. So that's that analogy of a lion and antelope is really a red herring, having nothing to do with human morality, because God did predetermine the existence of the Christian Bible for human beings to follow. That's what you're subject to. Okay, so next time I'll be back with a summary of chapter 5, which is called Life is Predetermined. So take care. Thanks for paying attention.